Hi, greetings! I am Braggy, and I'm your host today for this very short historical video on this Viking helmet, and mainly about wearing it correctly. At some point I will go into further detail on this helm. Now, my advice on wearing a helmet is always wear a hat, but first of all I'll demonstrate why not wearing a hat is never good. So I'm going to put this helmet on. Bear with me. Right, it's on my head. Now, as I come forward, you'll notice one thing, that this helmet is too loose and is sitting too low down on my head, because my eyes are above the eyebrow, and I want my eyes to be dead central if I can, so I can get a better view when I'm in the Viking battle. So let me take this helmet off. I'll step back, and you've got to be careful when your mail doesn't catch your nose, because if you're not careful when you take one of these off with full face mail, it could catch your nose and cut you. If you're not careful, you got a lot of bad luck. So yes, but let me just grab my hat off the floor as I give you a close-up view. Oh, here we go. Hello. Getting down and getting back up again when you're old is not easy. So my tip is always wear a hat. If you can't afford a good armour hat or cap, then any woolen Viking hat will do. And like I said, this is the first one I have ever owned, and it's over 20 years old. Bought that in 1999, second hand. So now I got my hat on, and when I put a hat on I tend to have it slightly further back on my head, because it's going to push forward when I put the helmet on. So the first thing you do is you unwrap the mail. So although the best way is just to hang it down, let it hang, let it just fall. I'm going to step back, and then it's a matter of mooring up your head carefully with your helmet. You may need to wriggle the back. There we go. Then you adjust it, and that is a better fit, and now you can see my eyes. That is always a good indication whether a helmet fits right. And of course it's got a chin strap, and you should always do them up. I've not done so in this case, but I don't need to. So always make sure your Viking helmet fits right. You don't want it too loose. And you could always, if you got a hat, a helmet which is too loose, and you're wearing a wooden hat and it's still too loose, you could always buy some 10mm thick felt and make a felt hat which will go inside snugly and stay inside your helmet. It's another option. Another option, as I take it off carefully, it's not easy with a full face of mail, is you get your helmet, and let me show you inside if I can. You'll see that there, you would pad that out with sheep wool, and so that the leather inside is sitting lower down, and then that is a very good way of also making sure that the helmet fits right. Of course you can go to the extremes and knock it on an anvil and try to make it to fit, but I don't recommend doing that if you do not know what you're doing. Now, some people don't like bright helmets. Some people like them dark. I do to a certain degree, they look cool. But how would you do that? For my second tip in this video. Well, there's two methods I've used in the past. And the first method is basically using a gun blue. And a gun blue is basically a liquid. There you are, you got a very polished gun barrel, and it's bright metal, but you want it to be gun blue. So you have this special stuff called gun blue, and most sport shops that sell shotguns will sell it in a little jar, 10 to 15 pound, $10, $20, something like that. And then you basically just put it on a cloth, and you just go down your gun barrel. In this case, you get a cloth and you just wipe it over your helmet, and it will darken it. But there is another method, and that method is putting it in the oven. And I've done that, I think, once on my helmets, and I know other people have done it before, and they've covered the helmets with cooking fat and done all sorts of things like that, and then gradually it will turn dark blue. And there is one more method I can remember doing, is getting a heat torch and actually heating the helmet up until it goes to a darker colour. and you get those wonderful shades of blue. So there's another method for darkening your helmet. But why would you want a dark helmet? Because let's face it, if you're on a shield wall and that is very, very bright, it's a bit of a target for people. And so it's also an indication of a newbie, I guess, to a certain degree, that hasn't darkened his helmet or hasn't got more wear on the helmet itself, because if you look at this, it looks like it's never been in battle, and it hasn't. Whereas a helmet, and you see quite a few of the helmets I wear are battered and bruised because they've been in battle, you'll notice a difference. So yes, I'd always take care of your helmet. Don't just leave it in the garage at the end of your season, because it will go rusty, and you don't want to deal with a rusty helmet, trust me on that, because it will take work to clean up again. Now the thing about this helmet is, why does it have a little spike there? And I often wonder that, if it's a weapon, whether it's just a design element, is it really needed? Perhaps it's a throwback from the Roman days when they had feathers out of the helmets, I don't know, but it does make me think why that is like that. Yes, what's your favourite helmet? There's so many Viking helmets. I mean, the Coppergate is probably one of my favourites I own, and you've seen that on camera, but it's just in a different league compared to this. I mean, that's a Rolls Royce, my Coppergate, and this is like a Ford or Skoda in the UK. So yes. Now another thing about helmets is, if you're not used to wearing a helmet and you're going into battle for the first time, they can be very heavy. So I do recommend wearing them around your house or in your garden for a little bit. Get your neck muscles used to wearing a helmet, because trust me, you wear one of these all day, you're going to get a bad neck, and you do not want to give yourself a neck injury for the long term just because you've not done things correctly. So build up your strength and make sure your neck is strong enough. When you do get some neck pain, then go down to a lighter helmet, or even a leather helmet, or a hat, you know. But you've got to think about your health. You don't want neck pain, trust me. And of course, we call this a spectacle helmet because it's got this section here, which is this specky part of it, and people always, they call it the specky because it looks like glasses, spectacles. So that's a modern reenactment term, I'd guess. Another thing about this is I don't like the rivets too much, because those are modern manufactured rivets, whereas on the Viking helmets those would have been hammered. So what you could do, you could put that on an anvil, a domed anvil, and individually hammer your rivets flatter, and so they look like they've been hammered, and that would also make this helmet better. Of course, another thing I could do again is go around and panel beat these panels to give it that look of being hammered. But not always would they do that. They would often, with sandpaper, grind out the hammer marks afterwards. So that's quite authentic to be shiny and smooth like that as well. So, oh yes, I hope you've enjoyed this little video about this helmet. I like it. I've actually got two of the same sort, but one of them's much bigger. It's been bought for Eggle because he's got a larger head than me, and I've got this one. Although his one isn't full male, mine is. I don't know what I like prefer yet, either the full male or the one split. And I could take male off from this, but I like put it on the back of a glove. But I think for now, because I've only got one more full male helmet, which I don't often wear. I should do really. If you like this video and you like the channel, if you like helmets and Vikings and history, then share this video, and above all, give us a like. Thank you very much. By doing those two things, 1 and 2, you'll help to spread the channel on YouTube and for us to get a much wider audience, because I think we do deserve a wider audience and a much bigger audience on this channel. Oh yes, and I can't wait when that happens one day. I can make Eggle's little day, and you say, well done Eggle, thanks for all the hard work, there's a bit of money for you. Go on, treat yourself to a nice holiday or whatever. I think that would be wonderful. Goodbye, as I show you this helmet in the end screen.